Good morning. How's everybody doing today? I feel like it's been forever since we've done our Q&A. I mean, it's been a month, but it feels like a really long time. Hey, Sarah. So I'm gonna let a couple of you jump on here really quick before I delve right into it, and I'm gonna pull up some questions. If I can get back to my post. Okay, here we go. Hey, Desiree. Thank you, Sarah. This is actually day-old hair that I re-wet and fluffed. I had a meeting at the elementary school this morning with the principal, and I was in a hurry to try to look presentable because I literally dropped Sophie off at school, still in my pajamas, came home, and threw myself together really quick, went back up to school, had a meeting with her, and just got home again. So, hey Carol, hey Becky. So I decided to sponsor Sequiota Elementary, where she's at. They do an attendance award each month, and that classroom gets a gift. In the past, for several years, it's been a dentist, and so they get like a toothbrush and floss and toothpaste. Super exciting stuff that every kid wants, and they're done with their partnership. And so the principal last year had reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in sponsoring that. So I went up to, there's a new principal this year, and I went up to meet with her. So now instead of that, the kids are going to get something from me, and it's going to be something creative each month. So now I'm on a mission to find, I have to do just a safe number, 30 little gifts per kid per classroom. So they'll each get like an individual gift from me, then the teacher gets something for the classroom for recess, and then the teacher gets something. So if you guys have any brilliant ideas, you can let me know. But that's on my list of to-do things now, is find some really fun stuff to give kids to increase their artistic creativity each month. So I'm super excited about that. Hi, Kay and Carol and Nancy and Heather. I don't think I'm missing anybody. So do you guys want me to go right into questions, or do you want me to give you some updates on kind of what we have coming up first? I have a little bit of notes here because I feel like we have lots to talk about because we're opening our doors back up again. Thank you, Nancy. So we are down to, let me count how many weeks we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we are sitting at almost exactly 4 weeks until we open the doors back up to new members. I am very excited about this because you guys know I'm doing a live every single day until we open the doors again, just to really get out there and try to, let people get to know me a little bit more, because we're seeing so many people from out of Springfield now, which is super exciting for me. And several of you in here didn't know me before you got into this group. So I'm just trying to get out there and let people know me. So if you guys want to share those videos as well, I'm going to post them all in the group, and then I'm going to add them under units, under technique videos, and there's just going to be a plethora of them there. But at least they'll all be in one spot for you guys, instead of you having to go back to my main page and trying to find them and all that kind of stuff. So you guys will get everything that the main page is getting. I'm going to put it in here all under a unit for techniques. So anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. So that's coming up. I'm doing that to kind of get out there. I'm feeling very optimistic. We have tons of people who have messaged me and are being added to the wait list. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys know, like, as we welcome new members, I am excited for you guys. Have been so amazing to each other. So just making sure that, like, you know, next month we just give them like the warmest welcome, and it's going to be so exciting to welcome new people to our group and increase our family size, increase our tribe. So I'm very, very excited about it. And I feel like we're going to have a pretty big group the next go round. So on the back side of that, I am trying to get everything perfected, and I know it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not perfect, and you guys are okay with that, thank goodness. But there's a lot of things I want to get done over the next 4 weeks, and then realizing my limitations in that. So I have hired someone to build my website for me, because that takes lots of hours that I need to be creating stuff instead of worrying about building a website. So she's getting that set up for me, and you guys you don't have to change anything about what you're doing. All the units are going to stay the same in our group, and I'll keep adding to those and all that stuff. But basically, let's see if I can pull this up and show you guys. There's really not. So basically what this is going to be like, this is going to be a separate website. It's not going to be like when you log into the current one. That website that I have right now does not give me the capability for each person to have their own password and a login, which is very annoying, because when people do drop out, that's why I have to change the password, because otherwise they could just go back in and get all that stuff for free. So I was constantly having to change the password, which is annoying for you guys and it's annoying for me, and I just needed a new website. So this is actually a membership website. It's meant specifically for this. So basically what will happen when you guys log in, it will look like there are all these different classes you can take, and it's basically just going to be organized in that way. Yes, Nancy, so when her question was, will they have access to everything? That's the amazing thing. These people coming in, they're going to have access to the last, what is it going to be, 5 months worth of classes, plus everything new that they're going to get. So that library will stay there for everyone. As long as you are a paying member, you have access to everything. And that's why I always tease you guys, and I'm like, stop saying you're behind. There's no such thing as behind. And especially when we have new members coming in, I don't want to create overwhelm for them, because if they come in and they feel like they have to catch up with you guys, they're going to get overwhelmed and it's going to stress them out. And that's the last thing that we want. So I tease you guys about it, but it's also important for you to know, and then going forward for them to know, there really is no such thing as catching up. What's going to happen when they come in is they're going to have so much to choose from that they're going to pick and choose what they want, which is totally fine. It's the same thing that you guys do. When you do have time, you may not have time to do all 8 paintings or however many there are in there. You're just going to pick what speaks to you and what you have time for. So does that make sense to everybody? I just want to keep it to where we don't overwhelm other members and them feeling like they're behind, because again, we're all at different levels. We're going to have people coming in who have some experience, and then, you know, a lot of newbies who are totally new to this. And so I want to make it as organized and as, what's the way I want to say this, as least overwhelming as I can make it. So that's why I'm having this website built. So it'll have everything. It'll have pages. It will, so we will have, oh, that's just a picture. Hang on. Let me go to the actual site, and I may flip you guys around here so you can see it. But basically, it is going to be called the socialeaselonlinepaintstudio.com. It's a mouthful, but it's just our name. I just wanted to claim that website. So when you go in, you will each have your own login and password, and all of that will be emailed to you. And so when you go in, it'll have like a list of all the different things, and you can hit, like if you've already done them, and if you're that type of personality that likes to have your check marks, you can go in and like hit completed and then move on to the next. So it'll have a section for painting tutorials that will be organized by month, and then it will have a section for technique videos, and then we'll have a section where it just stores all of our live Q&As, which if you haven't watched all of them, go back. There's some really good information in some of the ones that we've done in the past and some of the questions people have asked. So even if you weren't on at that time, or maybe you weren't a member yet when some of those were posted, there is some good information in those to go back to. So everything we've done so far is going to be archived and available to all new members, which is part of the reason why the price increases each time I open. I'm having a hard time with figuring out what I want to make the price this go around, because I don't want to go too high that it turns people away, but just finding something that's fair and gives them an idea of the value of what they're getting, because you guys know that are local, each time you come and paint with me, it's $40. So to get everything that we're getting in a month for just a little bit more than that, to me is a steal. But you guys can let me know your thoughts on that, because you're going to be inviting people in to this group also. And so that was one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys. I had put it in a post, but I know not everybody always gets to read everything that I post. But we are going to do, since you guys are kind of like, you're like my founding members. So the first 2 launches of this have been building months. And building it to this big launch that I'm doing in September, and trying to work out all the kinks and get things, the way that it is. Nancy, it'll be at least 47. That's what it was the last time. So it'll either be 47 or it will be higher than that. So I'm still debating on numbers a little bit. But each person that you refer, and I'm going to create, I'm hoping, and again, the new website being built, it may change this and give me more capabilities that I didn't have through the program that when you guys signed up. But I'm hoping there's going to be just a referral link, a space in there when people sign up that they can say who referred them. And every person that you refer who signs up, and as long as they are a member, you will get $5 off your monthly subscription for every month that they remain a member. So if you get 5 people to join the group, you're getting $25 off your subscription fee. And you're getting a bunch of your friends to get to join in to the fun. Hey, Jackie. So what do you guys think about that? Does that sound like a good deal to you? We're going to kind of boost it up and start sharing with our friends. But I'm hoping that we'll, as a thank you, taking that $5 off per friend that you have join is a good deal to you too, and gives you incentive, and hope sounds like, if you know people who you're wanting to join the group, then you get a little bonus for that also. So this is kind of the way that it works, and like the other groups that I'm in, we get a bonus when we bring other people into that group. So if we find value in it and we want other people to experience that, we get a little kickback for that, which is, it's a win-win for everybody. So that will be something that you get going forward. So feel free to share the live videos that I'm doing and let people know. Doors are gonna open on Monday, actually, I'm just kidding. I decided I'm gonna open them Sunday night. So it's gonna be Sunday, September 16th. And we're gonna open doors at 9 p.m. that night. Becky said I would have not found you if I had not gone on with the Painters Clubhouse. Very cool, and I love Tamara. She's in my group, and Tamara's gonna be teaching us in the next couple months. Hey, Jackie. So our launch, when we expect new members, we're launching on Sunday, September 16th. So if you guys want to jot that down, just so you know, so you can tell your friends that, there is a date, and I'm going to open the launch at 9 p.m. that night, and we're going to have an early bird window, kind of like I did last time. So if people sign up on that Sunday night or the entire first day, full day of the launch, Monday until midnight. So Sunday night through Monday at midnight, there will be an extra bonus for them signing up as an early bird. So early bird bonus, and then we'll stay open Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday we will close registration at midnight Thursday night. Hey, Julie. So that's kind of how the launch window is going to work. So you guys know how that is going to go. And I, again, had mentioned this, but over the next few weeks, those of you that want to, there's a couple different ways we can do this. I can do individual interviews with you guys, and I can set it up through my computer where I just send you a link and we're kind of like on a split screen and we're just talking back and forth, and that'll go on Facebook. Or we can meet in person and I can film us talking in person. And basically I say interview, but it's more informal than that. It's basically just me and you talking and you sharing your story so far with me, or, you know, with, kind of like what we did the other night. If those of you that were there, we're just talking and we're just sharing our story, to welcome people into the group and kind of let them know what to expect or what your journey has been so far. For a lot of you, I feel like it was like the same thing. Most of you were joined because you wanted to have that time to do things on your own, at your own pace, in your own time, from the comfort of your home. Some of you don't necessarily want to do it in a group atmosphere. You love art, but you didn't want to be at the classes. So there's different things that draw different people to it. And sharing those stories is kind of where we want to go moving forward. So I'll be reaching out to some of you who have talked to me over the last couple months and shared with me, and we'll figure out what works best for you. Oh, very cool, Claudia. I don't think I knew that. So, well, you guys can let me know what you're comfortable with. For those of you, actually, it doesn't even have to be local. So the other idea I had, and I had already talked to Debbie about this, said she would help me out, is just for those of you that are local, I was just going to invite like a handful of you over and just kind of have a panel. So it's not just you and me, but kind of like a group of you and kind of a back and forth, so people can kind of, you know, get our vibe and see what your stories are. So kind of like a panel where there's like 4 or 5 of you together. And then during that week of actual launch, we'll do some live videos. And if you're willing, what it's going to look like on the screen when we go on Facebook, there will be, it'll look like the Brady Bunch, and we'll all be on a screen together, and we'll just take turns talking back and forth. So it's called like a Zoom conference call, but basically it gives us all the ability, which to me is exciting, because a lot of times I just feel like I'm talking to myself and reading your words. So in that scenario, I'll actually get to see your faces and talk to you back and forth and do our stories that way. So that is kind of all the info coming up about the launch. So what else? So $5 referral fee for you guys for each new guest you have coming on. We just talked about new members coming in and kind of just being super welcoming, reducing overwhelm for them. And then we're going to go forward with sharing some stories, excuse me, and the new website. I did want to tell you, so what I'm very, very excited about our, basically the rest of 2019. This is my favorite time of year. This is where I have a million ideas written down on a piece of paper of everything that I want to do, because I love the holiday season, and all creative people love the holiday season. I think it's just ingrained in us. So I'm going to give you guys kind of a sneak peek of what you have coming forward, but I have scheduled some special guests for you over the next few months that I am so excited about, and I'm going to get to learn from them too. So September, here's your September schedule. We are going to do the fall trees by the creek for our first week in September. And the second week is our technique week. And my friend Cindy, who does glass art with resin and pieces of glass, she has recorded a tutorial for us, and she is doing a full class for you guys on glass art. So I'm so excited about this because I haven't done it before and I've always wanted to. So she's gonna come on and be our special guest speaker the second week in September, and she's gonna teach you guys how to do a glass cross. And she'll have discounts if you want to order the supplies from her. She's given us a discount code for coming into the group. So I'm super, super excited about that. It's her most popular thing that she does, and she's doing that for us in September. And then on our second painting for October is going to be the, and some of you may know it, some of you may not, but it's one of my favorite things to paint. And it's the Halloween folk art tree. So it's all Halloween colors, crazy folk art tree with the pretty little details and the flowers and the pumpkins and everything else. So we'll have something to get your October started. So you'll have your first Halloween painting for the season at the end of September. Let me read your comments real quick. That's awesome, Sarah. She was saying she's excited about that. So I'm amazed by it. She also has a membership group, and she's launching hers this week. And so I'm just like watching everything she does and just amazed by it because it's a whole, art is amazing because there's so many different spectrums that you can go into. But anyways, so she's going to be our special guest. We get to learn a little bit about glass art in September from her. Hey, Debbie. And then in October, do you guys want to know what we're doing in October? So in October, the first week, we're doing the Halloween cats. Some of you may have seen that on my main page. I'm going to do that here locally, but it's pretty much my favorite Halloween painting. I love these little guys. So they're super cute, and there's some good technique I know that I can teach you within that painting that you can carry on to other ones. So Halloween cats is going to be our first one in October. So you've got 2 Halloween paintings that you'll have ready to go for the month of October. And then a couple of you know her, but Tamara from the Painters Clubhouse, she's another one of my friends. She's going to be our second guest for the fall. And that second week, she is going to be doing an acorn door hanger for us, which is adorable. She showed me the picture the other day, and I love it. So she's going to teach us how to do that door hanger and how to make a fancy little bow to put on it. So I am not the best bow maker in the world, so I'm excited about just the bow part of that. And then she sells those templates. So if you want to do the door hanger, you can buy those from her. And she lives, I can't even remember where she lives, somewhere south that way. But she sells the templates and has someone who cuts them out for her and everything, and she ships all over the United States. So if you want to do your own door hanger, you'll be able to order those from her also. But it's just fun she's going to show you not just painting the acorn, but different techniques. Like I used to teach craft classes. Thank you, Jackie Benton, Kentucky. I should have remembered that. And I'm like, I know she's somewhere over there. What was I going to say? So she's not just going to just show you the painting, but she's going to show you techniques that she uses when she creates door hangers. So just the way she uses her paintbrushes and the way she does swirls and lettering and all that kind of stuff. So I think you guys are really, really going to enjoy that. And then the third week in October, we're doing some whimsical pumpkins. This is a new painting that is up here and not on canvas yet, but I have a pretty fun idea in my head of what that's going to be like. So it's kind of be a combination of some Van Gogh-ish brush strokes and crazy background with some fun pumpkins on the front of it. So that's your October. Do you guys want more, or do you want me to just stop there and not tell you what else is coming? So I promised you guys a fall truck with pumpkins, And you are going to get, I already uploaded the, or put it into the unit where I show you how to paint the highlights and stuff on the truck. You guys are cracking me up. Hey, Carrie. So that's already uploaded. I just have to get the truck image uploaded and put on there for you. So that'll be under the units tab. When I do that, I don't think I have it in here. I think my truck might be a little bit bigger than an 8x10, which is 8.5 by 11, you know, like whatever we can print. So I may have to shrink it down a little bit to give you guys. And then you can enlarge it, like if you want to take it to a copier and enlarge it, or there's ways I can show you. If you guys want to jot this down, if you go to blockposter.com, it allows you to take any image, so any image that I give you guys, and it allows you to enlarge it to whatever size you want. So basically what it does is it splits the image over several different pieces of paper, and then you tape them together, and then you have the larger image. So I've done this in the past when I've done like a really big sign for someone, and I needed that image, but I needed it way bigger than what a printer can print. There's a website, so blockposter.com does that for you. So anyways, you're getting that truck this month, but we are gonna do same thing with this one. I'll have to shrink it down a little bit. We haven't even got to the Q&A part. I'm just telling y'all the updates coming. Okay, so this was, you know, my spring-ish version, and I had an extra one left over. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I had an extra truck already drawn onto a canvas, and I thought that's perfect. I'm just gonna use that image, but I'm gonna turn it into fall. It's not gonna have the black background. It's gonna have like a fall background, and it's gonna be a side view of the fall pumpkins in a truck. So I'm so excited about this one because I think it's gonna be super cute. So that will be your very first November painting. And then that week I am, you thought my legs were tattooed. That's hilarious. Yes, these are my stretchy comfy pants today. So that first week of November is going to be a little different. So our painting will be on a different day. It's going to be on a Monday instead of a Friday because I am going to Nashville, Tennessee for a, it's called Business Boutique, and it's basically a convention for creative people. And I'm meeting Tamra and some of my other friends that are in my group there. And I'm sure I'm going to come back totally inspired with even more ideas than I already have. So I'm super excited about that. So because I'm going to be in Nashville on that first week in November, we're moving that painting, that truck full of pumpkins is going to be moved to that Monday, which is actually, hang on. I might have said I'm doing that on Halloween. No, it's not. So the way that will fall, instead of you guys getting, because November 1st is a Thursday and I'll already be in Nashville, so you'll actually, the Monday of that week is still in October, so you'll get your first November painting the last week of October is kind of how that is going to work. And then we will do our, we'll have another technique week, and then I may change this up. What do you guys think about me? Because Thanksgiving is coming up, so I have like the next 2.5 months, and then I kind of stopped at right before Thanksgiving because I kind of wanted to get your feedback there. So we could do the painting on the week before that. Instead of you getting it on November 15th, getting it on like November 8th or 9th instead, so you have more time to have it up in your house. So you'll have the pumpkin one that you can have for Thanksgiving. And then you'll have your truck full of pumpkins, but to do one more fall one before Thanksgiving, or we can move into Christmas mode, because as soon as Thanksgiving's over, you guys are going to be ready for your Christmas paintings. So I'm going to let you guys kind of vote on this and let me know what you prefer. So you'll have you've got 2 Halloween paintings coming up. You've got 2 fall paintings coming up. Actually more than that, because you're also going to have the fall trees that we do next week. So you're actually going to have 3 fall paintings plus 2 Halloween paintings. So you guys may want me to do like that third week of November. You guys may want me to go ahead and transition to Christmas so you can get 3 Christmas paintings out of the group. What do you guys think? I'm thinking that's probably going to be the most popular thing, because everybody loves Christmas, and I have so many of them that I feel like it's going to be hard to get in what you guys want, if that makes sense. So far I'm seeing Christmas. Okay. So let's do that. If we do that, that'll be, you do have lots of fall paintings, and you've got 2 Halloween ones. And then we'll move to Christmas. And so that will give you 1 in November. And then in December, I think we'll change it up, and I will do 2 paintings for you back to back, so that the first 2 weeks of December, usually we do the first and third week for our paintings, so I'm going to change it up for the holiday season, and this gets me so excited. I love Christmas. So I'm going to write this down real quick. So what we'll do is we'll do the first and second week are both going to be paintings. So you guys get 2 more paintings that you can have hanging up at Christmas time, at least with, that second one. You'll at least have 10 days before Christmas is over that you can get it up. So we'll have those up early. Or the other thing that I could do, I know you guys, a lot of you like for me to do the live teachings because you like to get on there with me. But the other thing that I could do is pre-record the Christmas painting tutorials so that you have access to them at the beginning of December, so that you have more time to have them hanging on your walls before Christmas. So let me know what you guys think about that. So I'm giving you lots of options here, but this is what makes the group so fun, right? You tell me what you want. And then we'll still have our technique week and our live Q&A that month. The live Q&A will be after Christmas, but we'll teach you some fun techniques. So we'll kind of play December by ear, but you'll definitely get 2 Christmas paintings, a technique video that will be holiday related. But I'm thinking, for the sake of everyone's insane schedule in December, because I know not just me, I have 3 kids who you guys know have crazy schedules, and I know you guys have crazy schedules, Christmas parties, all that kind of stuff. So I think I will probably do like a batch pre-recording and just release December to you so that you can get your stuff up as quickly as you want to, and you don't have to wait on my time schedule to do that. So I think that'll be the best thing going into our holiday season. So are you guys excited? Like, we have the rest of 2019 planned out. I mean, I know you don't have the paintings, you don't see all the paintings, but we have our plan. So I'm super excited. I think you guys are gonna have so much fun. Hi, Miss Nikki. And then and I say for those of you that are local, but you guys all know everyone is invited. If you want to make a trip down to Springfield, Missouri, I know Nancy can find us some discounts or something, somewhere for people to stay if we want to do a little Christmas party. Does that sound fun? I want to do a Christmas party with you guys. So I'm going to work on trying to come up with a date, and we'll plan something here in Springfield, another get together. Everyone is invited. I'll look at dates and let you know. Once I know my girls' volleyball schedule, then I can plan around that. But I want to do a fun Christmas party with you guys. I would love for everyone to come. I know that's not feasible for all of us, but everyone is welcome to come down here and meet, and I think it will be a blast and the best Christmas party ever. So we will get that scheduled. I'm gonna talk with Nancy and see if there's something we can figure out here. So all right, that's 2019 in a nutshell. And as I'll start showing you guys some of the paintings, I'll start posting them. Some of them are ones that I've already done before, so I can go ahead and get those up and show you the pictures so you have something to look forward to. So I'm super excited. I hope you guys are excited. All right, ready to get to the questions? Let me switch back over here. You know what I just thought of? By then, oh wait, let me read. Christmas. Yeah, we could do something crafty depending on the place that we find. Christmas paint party 2019 or 18. This year, is that what you're saying, Nancy? Like sometime in December, prior to Christmas, I'd like to do something. Heather said it'd be neat to do a craft swap at the Christmas party. That's a cute idea too. So we'll be brainstorming. You guys can leave comments or make a post about it on the page, and we'll start figuring some things out. But in my head, I'm like already forgetting that we're gonna have, I have been saying 2019, haven't I? See, my brain is already in the next year. I'm looking at my calendar and I'm looking at January 2019. I meant we're done until 2019. Sorry. All right, Sarah said we can chip in to rent out a firehouse room. Yeah, I mean, we can always use the pitch. That's where I do everything. And I mean, he works with me. But I was trying to think of maybe somewhere that had like a bigger conference room, because this is what I was gonna say, is I keep forgetting that by December, this will be after our launch, and we're gonna have a much bigger group than what we have now. So I have no idea what this could turn into. so we'll play it by ear and see how many new members we get in September. But how fun for everyone to meet, and I love just how much already I've seen some of you guys become friends. It's very, very exciting to have other like-minded people that you can talk to and hang out with. So super cool. Sorry, I was saying 2019 the whole time. My brain is already there. Okay, so we are gonna get to the Q&A, and I'm just gonna go in order of what the questions were. Thank you, Nancy. I love you being a tribal alumni too. So I may switch you guys around here in a little bit so I can show you some technique. But the very first thing, yes, Jackie, you're right, they do. I usually book all of my events by September for the rest of the year. So I usually know my schedule pretty far out. It will be hard. We'll have to definitely wait until after our launch just so we have a better idea on numbers. Because it could be 20 people or it could be 60 people. I don't know. So we'll wait and see. I would love to just be able to host it here at my house, but I don't think my house is big enough for that many people. Okay, so first question on the Q&As was Becky Walker was saying she struggles with stuff like the palm fronds and anything small and skinny. She said, I either have too much paint or it goops or it's not enough or it runs out and drags. So the first thing I would say is one of my favorite things that I have invested in, and really it's not much of an investment, it was not very expensive, but when I taught those palm trees, I had told you guys about, and it's on my Amazon store, I told you guys about these skinny itty bitty little brushes. Man, the difference it makes. So like I thought I had skinny brushes before, but then I bought these detailed ones, and they're meant for detailing. Like, I mean, you can use them on like model cars and stuff like that. But it makes a world of difference. Just, you wouldn't believe how tiny some of these brushes are. Let me hold one of these. Can you see it's so little. So it really allows you to have more control when you're doing that. But a lot of it is just, and I'll switch you guys over here to where we get to the view of me painting in just a second. A lot of it is again, just the pressure that you put on your canvas. It's, I think, a learned thing. I think it's, practice makes perfect type of thing. The more you practice, the better you're going to get at controlling it or controlling your pressure. I think most people usually don't put enough paint on their brushes, and then you get that dragging effect where it doesn't finish the brush stroke all the way. Let's see if I don't have my palm trees in here. So I'll show you, we'll do a close-up again, so you can kind of watch me do that just a little bit more. And then let me see if there's anything else before I switch you guys over. So a couple things that we're going to talk about. A few of you have asked about shadows and shading and texturing, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that. Another one of Becky's questions, and it kind of goes hand in hand with Sarah's. But she was saying, need tips and tricks for adjusting paint colors to lighter or darker. So I'm going to show you guys, if you do not have a color wheel, and this is something that you want to explore, I highly recommend it because it really breaks things down, and I'm going to go over that with you when I switch the camera over there. So it makes a big difference, and I think it'll just change the way that you think about color. And at the end of this, I am going to issue you guys kind of a challenge to work on those things. Jackie said perhaps roll the brush to a point in the paint. Yeah, that's another good point that I'm going to show you guys. When I do the skinny brushes, I a lot of times will wipe on the side of my plate so that it gets that to a nice point before I paint. Jackie said I'm frozen and don't have a sound. Is that happening to anybody else? I'm gonna move you guys. Get off. Okay. I'm gonna move you guys over here real quick. Okay, Sarah can still hear me. Okay. Sorry. You get to see my lovely office. Okay, so the rest of you can see me right now. I'm going to switch you around. Julie said refresh your page. Yeah, I think sometimes depending on your connection, and I've had to do this when I'm watching other live videos from my instructors, you just have to get out and refresh it and then it'll work. So I'm gonna get a couple paints on here real quick. And I want to show you guys my color wheel. And did I not bring my other thing in here? I thought I did. I'm putting my apron on so I don't ruin my shirt. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the shading now that I'm over here, give me just a second. I'm gonna pull you up on my iPad so I can read questions and stuff once I have you flipped down. And I still need my coffee. Okay. I really thought I brought my mixing guide in here. Sorry, give me just 1 second. I want to show you guys this, but I also, oh, maybe this is it. Okay, good. I thought I had it in here. I wanted to show you guys this color mixing guide because this is super, super helpful. So I'm going to show you guys some of the shading and tinting that we're going to do. So let me flip over here really quick. So it's called tinting when you add white to it, and it's called shading when you add black to it. So those are just some basics. And the color wheel is going to kind of walk you through that. So it will show you, like on this side, let me see. I'm gonna, Jackie, do you, yeah, Jackie, I have a few extras for sale on the aprons. I'm gonna flip the view of you guys. I don't like this view, but it lets you read the words right. So I'm just gonna try to hold this up so you guys can see that. So can you see where it shows if you're adding black, when you move this color wheel, it's gonna show you what adding black does. That's so dark you guys can't see. Let me see if I move you over to like a yellow. Okay, so on yellow, right now you see if you add white, you get this, wrong finger, you get the, obviously it makes it more pale. And then if you scoot it this way and you add black to it, it darkens it. So that's just adding black and white, but the color wheel is going to help you kind of figure that out. The other thing that's on here is your grayscale. So this is something that I've told you guys before. I took a color theory class and we had to create a grayscale. And it goes from values of 1 to 10. So this is something that I'm going to have you guys do. I'm going to show you here in a second. And then also get you used to pick one color. You can pick whatever your favorite color is and start testing it. And I want you to do a strip of, let's just say blue. Let's say you pick blue, and I want you to do a strip of adding different amounts of white to it so you can see that transition. And then I want you to do a strip of adding blue and then different amounts of black to it to see that transition. So you can start training yourself how to give shading to things. And what that is going to help you with when you're doing paintings, you want to create depth. That's another thing that people have talked about. How do I create depth? Well, one of the ways you're going to do that is with shading. So you want to have different levels, okay, different values throughout your painting. If everything's the same, if everything is the same value, like let's say it's just like a value 5 or 6, it just looks kind of blah. You want to have areas of highlights and lowlights, so you want dark, light, medium. You also want to create levels of your painting. So to create depth, you have your background, you have your middle ground, and you have your foreground. And there's a couple different ways that you can change that. By adding depth, you can, just speaking in terms of, this is so high, sorry, I feel like I'm looking up at the sky. There we go. So you can do this a couple different ways. It's called atmospheric depth. So what that means is, like in a landscape, this is a perfect example. You guys have done this one. In a landscape, the further back you go, the softer things are, almost blurrier. So you want things back here to be soft and blurry. And then the things in the front are crisp, okay? So that's one way of adding depth, is the softness in the back versus the crispness in the front of the painting. So that's called atmospheric depth. You can also create depth by layering things, by having the background, the middle ground, and the foreground. I could use that same painting and kind of show you that, or we'll just grab this because it's right here. So obviously my background is just my sky, and then my middle ground is like my church, and I've got the little bushes that go on top of that. So what happens when you layer things, you want things to overlap. Overlapping is another form of adding depth, because when I put this bush on top of this church, it now makes the church go backwards. So you know that bush is in front of it. And then in my foreground, I've got the flowers. Again, like in that other painting, this is going to be the focal point, and you know that these are closer to you because they're bigger. So it's also the layering, but then you take in size into that as well. So we know the flowers are not on the same level as the church, because that would make them way too big and they'd be like giant flowers standing up next to the church. But because they're bigger and at the foreground, at the forefront of our painting, we know that those are closer to us. So this is creating depth because you have different levels throughout the painting. Does that make sense to you guys? Just give me like a thumbs up or something if it does. Sorry, I'm gonna get off this. There we go. I'm hoping this is refreshing your comments. So yeah, just let me know if that makes sense to you, and hopefully answers some questions about creating depth in that. Let me jump over here and make sure I'm gonna flip it around and show you guys some stuff too, but I'm scrolling down to make sure I'm not overlooking a question regarding that. But there were a couple of you who were asking about depth and shading. And then, okay, so going back to Becky's, we talked about the tones and or the tints and the shades. That's adding white and black. And another thing that you can do to she was saying, like, how do you make your paint colors lighter or darker? So that would be that. But you can also tone things down. So let's say you're talking about a bright green. Well, because green and red are opposite on the color wheel, again, this is why this is going to come in handy to you, because you're going to start learning what's opposites. Green and red are opposite, so when you add one to the other, let me see here. So look at this green, bright green, but then I'm adding red to it and it tones it down. So you kind of get almost like a reddish brown color. So you can use colors, opposite colors, to tone down, which is what I do in a lot of my paint classes. So when I start with like a Kelly green, like a really bright green, way brighter than what I want on the canvas. So I have them add red to it and it immediately tones it down. Same thing when I teach the red truck, we add a little bit of green to our red and it starts shifting more towards like a burgundy color. So this is just kind of, I want to challenge you guys to play with a little color mixing, play with a little tinting and shading, because it's going to go a long way in teaching you what you can do in your own paintings when you start creating stuff on your own, to learn how to do things. Can you tell us about the little brushes before you leave? Yes, I am. I'm going to switch you guys around in just a second and show you that. So this is another thing, and I believe I have this on the Amazon store as well. I'll double check afterwards. So this is a little, try to get that closer. So it says burnt sienna, raw umber. These are actual like acrylic paints, like out of tubes. So obviously we use craft paints, but you can use the same idea. You may not have a bottle that says ultramarine blue, but you have a craft bottle like this, and you know it's pretty close to that color. And so then you can look at this chart and then go across the bottom And it's this awesome thing. And you can say, okay, well, if I add purple to that blue, what am I gonna get? Or if I add red to that blue, what am I gonna get? This is so handy. Again, this is if you wanna start creating stuff on your own, but I just encourage you to play with it. It is so fun when you start playing with colors. And like, I remember in color theory class, like I would start mixing things, and she made us we could not have anything in any of our paintings that came out of a tube. We had to mix our own color for everything that we created, which I loved that she made us do that, because it forced me to learn about color. And you also learn how colors play off each other. So some of my favorite color combinations, again, going back to the color wheel, are like this blue-green color and then like an orangey red. They're opposites, or you can get colors that are side by side of the opposite, and they all play off each other. So it will just teach you what colors look good together. Okay, so hopefully that answers some questions about that. We've talked about depth a little bit. So I'm going to flip you guys around here. And I know, Jackie, you asked a question not on that post, so I'm gonna go, oh, it's not gonna let me pull up events here. Okay, I'm gonna switch you guys around so you can see the board. And my coffee. I'm just gonna start with just turquoise because I have it laying here. And of course it has a clog in it. Sorry, guys. Seriously. I think it's clogged right at a big old dry piece of paint covering the hole that it's supposed to come out of. All right, there we go. Hopefully I can get some paint out now. Hello, ladies that just joined. Make sure you go back, if you hopped on late, and go back and watch from the beginning. We had lots of announcements in the beginning before we moved on to some of the technique and the Q&A. So we talked about depth, but I am gonna show you guys, one, how to get the skinny lines and how to control that a little bit more. And I'd mentioned that the first thing is having a really good skinny brush. So I'm gonna start with this one. I haven't used this one before. I was looking for the other one that I had, but we're gonna start with this so I can show you. So, you know, just a fair amount of paint on there. It's covering all my bristles. You guys see that okay? So if I push down hard, you know, this is, again, super skinny. That's as wide as that line is gonna get. And that's me putting all my pressure on it. But can you guys see when you do that, your bristles kind of flare out because you're putting that pressure down. They are on there, Nancy, because I looked at it yesterday. They're under this. I've got 3 different sections in my store, and it's under the one that says painting at home. I'm going to pull it up in just a second. So again, first thing is getting brushes that are skinny enough. So I'm going to double check that link and make sure that's up there for you because I really like this brush set. So again, when I'm doing this, I like to have control. I like to be able to rest my hand on the surface that I'm working on. And when I'm doing it, it's really just about controlling your pressure. So I am just barely dragging. Can you see that tip is just very slightly putting any pressure versus this? So you can see the bristles are just barely moving when I'm doing that. So that's way too much paint. That's what I was talking about, where you can, like, if you get too much, wipe it off on your side until it comes to a nice tip again. And look how fine I can get those lines with this brush. They look like little eyelashes. So a lot of it may just be getting the right brush. Becky, I think, would probably alleviate a lot of stress for you, because with this tiny little brush, I can get some crazy detail in there that there's no way I could do with just my number one. If I try to do it with this, I can control a little bit here, but see, even that, even with me wiping it off on the side, it's still, I mean, I can get that pretty thin because the bristles are hardly even moving when I touch the canvas, and you just want to have enough paint in there that you can drag it down. But I would literally just start practicing like this. Like I said, this just takes practice. Just learning these brush strokes takes learning control of your brush and how much pressure you're putting down. So just give yourself, if you've got the mixed media pad, just have a whole page of just you working on these. So this is with a number one, but again, I'm just barely touching down. I'm gonna get you guys a lot closer so you can see that. Does that make sense to everyone? See how those bristles, when I'm touching down, they're like not even being pressed down, versus this, you know, if you press down too hard, you get these kind of brush strokes. So hopefully that helps with the detailing part. And then I'm gonna move on to the shading. So I'm gonna start with this is kind of how we did it in my class. We'd start with like a block of color, and if you want to be, you know, like really specific, like she made us draw out a grid. You could do this, take a ruler. Give yourself, can you guys see that okay? Or do I need to lift it back out? Okay. I was double checking my page really quick. Nancy, it is on there. It's on the second row. And it's $14 for that skinny brush set. And it's called My Artscape brush set. But if you go to acrylic painting at home inside my store, you will see that on the second row. So I'll put the link on there again just for you guys to see. So this is what I want to show you about shading. So just adding a little bit of white, and you can kind of pre-mix here. And what you want to try to do is go just slightly lighter, and then you add more white. That's probably too big of a jump there. So I just keep adding white to it until I can see a value change. I'm going to pre-mix a little bit on my plate. And this is kind of just, you're just kind of eyeballing what you think is going to be a lighter shade. So in the new year, in 2019, and I actually mean 2019 this time, we will practice more on this fundamentals, because I want to do like a monochromatic. Monochromatic just means one color and you're just adding white or black to it. So you guys see the difference in those colors and just teaching yourself to do that. And then you can do the same thing with black. And black is very, very powerful. You don't need a lot of it. But you can kind of see the same thing going the opposite way and how it starts looking. I'm going to jump a little bit here just so you can really see the contrast in that. So you see kind of what I'm doing there. That one's darker than that. But when you add black to it, just how immediately it gives you a darker shade. I feel like you guys are in a little bit of a shadow over here. I'm going to move my light. Do you guys have any questions, or does that make sense to you, kind of what I'm showing you there? So with this, we're just going to focus on doing our value scale like I was talking about. So like you can start with black as your first one, and then you add just the tiniest amount of white to that. And I'm doing this, you know, fairly quickly just to kind of give you guys an idea. And this may be boring to some of you. I mean, it's not, you know, the super fun stuff, but it is going to teach you about how you can apply this to your painting. So just getting this dried really fast. And you're just creating value here. So I want to get it, you can kind of use this as your guide if you have a color wheel. If you don't, it's on the website too. But adding white and just slowly getting until you get from white all the way back to black, and you want all the shades in between. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys, kind of what I showed you here. I do want to show you, so like, let's see if I do, here we go. So I'm going to show you, it's kind of in between these two because it's not that exact color, but kind of a reddish orange. Let me see, does it have that on here? Adding blue, adding yellow, adding red. That's not what I want. Okay, this is what I want. So by adding the complementary color, if I add a little bit of the opposite, because this is like a bluish green turquoise and then a little red orange, I'm going to show you what that does. We'll just say blue and orange, okay, because these are opposites. And again, this is not exact because that's not a true blue. It's a little bit more turquoise than that. But I want to show you what happens when you add orange to it. So basically when you mix opposite colors, and depending on the ratio that you use, See how it's becoming kind of almost like a brownish color? The more orange I add to it, the more brown it's gonna get. So you get a neutral. When you add opposites together, you basically get some sort of shade of brown. So same thing if you mix green and red. So this is adding black and getting it lighter. This is adding, or darker. This is adding white and getting it lighter. And then this is adding the opposite color on the color wheel. So it almost looks like a dark gray, grayish brown color. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys, and you got something out of that and learned something. So this is what I thought, and there's a couple more questions and then we will hop off here. But I kind of want to set out like a little challenge to you guys. Julie said I added more than 200 plus bottles yesterday. Yeah, you can start mixing and save yourself from buying tons and tons of colors. Although, I mean, I'm with you. I just love buying paint, so I'm totally suckered into that. But just like a little challenge for you guys, just to increase your knowledge in shading and tinting and color mixing, we'll do this. If you want to make yourself a grayscale, and if you want to pick a color and do kind of a transition like this, or do it with doing the opposite color, and just show me some color mixing. I'm gonna give you guys like the next 2 weeks. We'll do like a 2-week challenge. And everyone that does this and plays with color mixing and does the grayscale, you guys are gonna be entered in to a contest, and then I'll have a little package, a gift, that I'm gonna send you guys. So it may be brushes or colors or mediums, who knows? I have all kinds of fun little stuff. So we'll kind of issue that as a challenge. You don't have to do it, but if you want to, it's going to be a great exercise for you to learn more about color, especially if you're wanting to take it to the next level and really learn how to apply this to painting your own stuff. So I'll set that out there for you. How many of you think you want to do that? Shoot me a thumbs up or a heart or something like that. The color wheel. What were you asking about the color wheel specifically, Julie? Like where to get it? So I have this up on the site too. I'm going to double check my site when I get off here with you guys and make sure I have everything up there. You, of course, can go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's and get one of these too, or you can just order it from Amazon. And they don't have to be this big. They make tiny little ones too. Oh, a color wheel as a prize. Actually, I just, this is mine from college and I couldn't find it for the life of me. And I just ordered a brand new color wheel. So that will be part of the prize, is a color wheel. So there, you get to know one thing that is a part of it. So I'll issue that out to you guys. You will send or post the pictures and just tag me in it when you're ready, and we'll just make it like a 2-week challenge and tag me in it, and then I'll take everyone's name and enter them into a contest. So really quickly, I wanted to show you this with shading too, because I think circles are an easy thing to show this with. So I've got my circle here, and this is just plain blue. I haven't added anything to it yet, and I'm just going round and round. So when you are talking about adding depth and lights and shadows and not knowing where it comes from, when you create your own art, you are going to decide for yourself, where's the light source coming from? Is it coming from the top right angle? Is it coming from over here? Is it coming from the bottom? So you decide. Once you decide that, and you decide this is your light point, everything that hits that is going to need to be lighter on this side and darker on this side. So just think of it like you would in the real world. Where would light hit? If you saw that object in real life, where would the light be reflecting off of that? So this is something that I learned by setting up still lives. So still lifes, not lives. So when you set up a still life, and it can be something as simple as an apple, put an apple on a table and have a light source. You could shine a flashlight on it. You could set up a lamp that's aimed at it. Where is the light hitting that apple? So if it's hitting up here, we're going to have light on this side. And as far as blending, you can decide how much you want to blend that depending on the style of painting you're doing. So I want it nice and blended in. See, it's lighter towards the top. Okay, so that's my highlight side because my light is coming from up here. And then I want to create some shade on the bottom. And I don't need very much black because, again, it's very, very powerful. And you create a little bit of shadow on the bottom. And then I'm going to wipe that excess off of there. You want it to be pretty much the regular color in the middle, but I just kind of keep blending and see how that gives depth and shape to that circle. Hopefully that's translating for you guys to see. So anything that you guys say, you know, like if circles are not easy for you, I mean, it's kind of the same thing with the skinny lines. Just give yourself the freedom to just practice, practice, practice. Just make a whole bunch of circles on one page until you can start seeing some progress. If I want to really create a deep shadow, I could come and really add some more black. Same thing with the opposite side. If I want one bright highlight where the light is really, really bright and it hits it, that's where we add those little highlights of white there. So what do you guys think? Does that help you kind of see shading and highlights? I want it blended in a little bit more. So that's showing you with a circle. I'm trying to find, Jackie, your questions were not posted on that post that I had, and it's not letting me get into the event to see what your questions were, so I don't know if you remember what you asked. I can't pull it up right now. So if you want to let me know. Yeah, so Nancy was saying, where is the light source? That's just number one. When you come up with a painting, you have to decide that for yourself. So even when I was doing the sunflowers, my light was coming from this angle across. So that's why it was all the brightness was on this part of my sunflowers because my light was coming down from that way, and then it was darker on the undersides. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. We've been on here for a little over an hour. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump off. Hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully that answered some of your questions about creating depth and about shading and highlighting. So that was kind of an intense, like really big color exercise there, but something like really, really important that you can do that's going to help you in your artistic journey. So hope you guys enjoyed it. I am looking forward to the rest of 2018. I hope you guys are too. And I'll get my years straight here. And yeah, so over the next 4 weeks, we've got 4 weeks until we have new members. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll be figuring out that referral bonus. And once I get my form nailed down, I'll let you know how that works. Hopefully they're just going to be able to have a place where they can enter in your name saying that you referred them to the group. Jackie, I'm not understanding your question. All right, so I'm gonna jump off and thank you. Sorry, I'm just trying to I'm sorry, I'm pausing here. I'm trying to read Jackie's questions and understand. It's the same thing, whether it's craft paint or acrylic paint out of a tube, it's the same thing. Color mixing doesn't change whether you're using craft paint or actual artist's paint. If you have this color mixing guide, you're just going to use this as your guide and find a craft paint that is most similar to that. So if you have this guide, you can take that with you to the store and you can get the phthalo blue or the phthalo emerald green, and you're going to be able to find a bottle that is close enough to that. Does that make sense? They, you know, they're going to be titled something completely different because the craft paints come up with their own names. But I would say if you're really wanting to explore that, you definitely need this. That's gonna help you with that. There's no certain formula for that. So you're just gonna have to color match and find a craft paint that's matching the color that you're talking about. So, all right, that is it for today. And I'm gonna start posting the September schedule for you guys. And as I get the new stuff done, I'll be posting it. And some of the dates may change over the next few months just because we're going into the holidays and different things like that. So anyways, have an awesome day. I hope it was very informational for you. And I can't wait to see what everyone does and see your progress and color mixing and what you come up with. And maybe you're going to come up with some new fantastic color that you absolutely love that you never knew you could make out of the colors that you have. So I'm going to put the links for these two things specifically along with the skinny brushes underneath this. So you guys can see exactly what it is that you need here. Or you can go to the craft store if that's easier for you. All right, see you guys later.